Top 5 super low PE stocks. That's what we're talking about here today, guys. I'm going to share some stocks with you that are going to shock you guys, okay? One of these stocks I'm going to share with you guys today has a PE in the 2 range. Yes, you heard me right, a PE ratio in the 2s. That's just something you don't usually see in the stock market. The stock market on average trades around an average PE ratio, which is a price to earnings ratio of around 15 roughly. Sometimes it might go up to 17 or 18. Sometimes it might go down to 14 or 13, but most of the time it's around 15, 16. So one of these stocks, literally, I'm going to share with you today is in the 2s. Like, that is mind-blowing, okay? Some of these other ones are in the 3s, 4s, 5s, and ranges like that, all right? Now, first, I want to do a disclaimer before we get into this video. A lot of times stocks are in these super low forward PEs or just PEs in general because they might be in commoditized industries and people don't view the business models as being anything special versus another business. And sometimes a lot of people just feel like their earnings are going to fall off massively. Maybe they had a great year this past year and their trailing 12-month PE is really, really low, but maybe the next 12 months is going to be really rough for that company, okay? So just something to keep in mind. Just because a company has a super low PE, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the greatest deal ever. You got to always judge off of many different factors. The price to earnings ratio is a very important factor to always judge stocks off of when you're researching, but that's not the only factor. You should be judging off the business model, where you see that business model going over time, the income statement over the past few years, the balance sheet. There's a lot of different factors that go into it, guys. So I hope you enjoy this. By the way, today I will have the pinned comment be a video I did on my other channel, my smaller channel, which was top 5 stocks under $5. If you guys never got to see that video, you might want to check that out when this one's over. All right, let's get into this, guys. The first one of the bunch is a company named AK Steel Holdings, ticker symbol AKS. This stock is certainly the cheapest of the bunch in terms of how much it actually costs you to buy a share, okay? It's a $2.52 stock. It's actually having a really, really rough day here today. AK Steel Holding Corporation, through its subsidiary AK Steel Corporation, produces flat-rolled carbon and stainless and electrical steel products in the United States and internationally. If you want to read more in depth about AK Steel, go ahead and you can kind of read down their profile there. But basically, at the end of the day, they're a steel-related company, all right? AK Steel Holdings, this is a stock right now, that has a trailing PE of 4.27 on this company. That is unbelievably low, okay? I mean, anything under a 10 is super, super low. When you're talking about under 5, that's insanely low, okay? 4.27, but you do look at that forward PE, it's a 5.37, so obviously people expect the company may not be quite as profitable this upcoming year as this past year. Look at that market cap, a small market cap company, less than $1 billion, about $797 million. So AK Steel, definitely a very interesting one if you're into the steel stocks, obviously. Steel industry, well, a lot of people view that as a very commoditized industry, and that's why a lot of these stocks usually don't trade at super high PEs or just high PEs in general. Yet generally, a lot of times they're under like 10s. We saw, obviously, Trump came out this past year and announced, tariffs on basically a lot of the foreign steel that was coming into the United States. So that is obviously a benefit to a lot of the U.S. producers of steel and aluminum products, all right? All right, guys, let's get into number 2, which is General Motors, otherwise known as GM, ticker symbol. It's a $39.19 stock as of today. General Motors, without me even telling you guys about it or reading anything, a lot of you guys probably know General Motors, but if you don't, General Motors Company designs, builds, and sells cars, trucks, crossovers, automobile parts worldwide. The company operates through GM North America, GM International, GM Cruise, and GM Financial. It makes its vehicles primarily under the Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, Holden, Baju, Jifeng, and Wuling brand names. Some of those brands I don't even know, okay? I know Buick, Cadillac, Chevy, GMC, obviously, but some of those other brands, those must be in some other countries and whatnot. But General Motors, at the end of the day, in the simplest way possible, they make vehicles, okay? And they also finance those vehicles. They sell parts for them when they break down and things like that, all right? GM right now, this is a company trading at a trailing PE of 7, but a forward PE of 6. So this is one of the few that's on the list that it's actually supposed to get even more profitable over the next 12 months than versus the last 12 months. Something I want you guys to take a look at here with GM, and this is why GM's a little bit of an interesting stock. It used to be a stock I hated on a lot. Now I'm looking at GM and it's a little more interesting to me. Here's why. Look at their market cap there, 55, okay? $55 billion market cap. Obviously, they're a super profitable company right now, a very dominant player in ICE automobiles, okay? And the wave, I believe, is all electric in the future, so that doesn't bode well well for a company like GM. However, $55 billion market cap. If you look at their cruise automation, and cruise automation is a company that's fully focused on autonomous driving, okay? GM owns this cruise automation now, and the valuation on that cruise automation right now is somewhere around $15 billion roughly, okay? So essentially meaning you're really paying for the traditional side of GM, you're paying really like $40 billion, which is really, really cheap for GM in general, okay? So because of their cruise automation, that makes me a little more interested in GM stock. Not a stock I've bought as of yet, but it's more interesting to me because they own that cruise automation, which the valuation is just going up and going up and going up, all right? Alrighty guys, number 3 of the bunch is Micron Technology, ticker symbol MU. Some of you guys might actually own this one. This is a $42.53 stock. Micron Technology manufactures and sells memory and storage solutions worldwide. The company operates through 4 segments: compute and networking business unit, mobile business unit, storage business unit, and embedded business unit. It offers memory and storage technologies including DRAM, NAND, NOR flash, and its new technology, which is called 3D X-Point memory. All right, if you want to read more in depth about Micron, go ahead and do that there. Micron, if we look at this one, $47 billion market cap, so a pretty big company relatively. Look at this one, okay? Very, very interesting one. We're talking about the trailing P on this one under 4. Okay, under 4, that's insane. A 3.88 on this one. However, you go ahead and look at that forward PE, and it's a little worrisome. All of a sudden, now we're talking about a 9 on the forward PE, which still a 9 is not very expensive, but if you just kind of think about it, Micron is obviously expected to be way less profitable in the next 12 months than they were in the past 12 months, and that's never a good look, especially when it is that dramatic. I mean, when you go from a trailing PE in the 3s to all of a sudden now you got a forward PE, that's in the 9s range. That is a dramatic difference there, guys. So needless to say, Micron, very interesting stock. Almost as low as a PE. We got one on the list that's actually lower in terms of the trailing PE, but a very interesting stock, very needs-based business. There's not a ton of competitors out there in the NAND side of their business. There might be 5 or 6 real competitors, and on the DRAM side, there's really only 2 competitors that are like their main competitors, Samsung, SK Hynix. So needless to say, interesting company, but a company that's obviously in the short term expected to be way less profitable than in the past year, all right? Coming in number 4 is the Goldman Sachs Corporation, okay? Ticker symbol GS. It's a $202 stock, probably the most expensive stock in terms of the actual share price on the list. The Goldman Sachs operates an investment banking, securities, and investment management company worldwide. It operates in 4 segments: investment banking, institutional client services, investing and lending, and investment management. You can go ahead and read more in depth about Goldman Sachs there, but Goldman Sachs traditionally is a company that helps take companies public, helps mergers and acquisitions happen, helps manage very wealthy people's accounts and things like that. Also invests for its own company essentially, and now they're actually getting more into the consumer side with the Marcus products they have out and whatnot, the savings accounts there. So a lot of regular folks are actually starting to use Goldman Sachs more and more. So very interesting company. About as well run of an investment bank as you can possibly find in all of the world, and they're so well politically connected. If you look at pretty much all the past United States presidential cabinet positions, a ton of them have Goldman Sachs folks in them, so they're very well politically connected there. All right, and so if we look at Goldman Sachs, $74 billion market cap on this one, an 8 trailing PE, so the most expensive, if you want to say that, of any stock on this list, but still that's really, really low. A trailing PE of 8, a forward PE of 7.7, so they're expected to get a little more profitable in this upcoming year than this past year. Like I said, Goldman Sachs as solid gets when it comes to investment banking. They made it through the recession. They're like I said, well politically connected. They just are a great company. All right, this last one, get ready to have your minds absolutely blown. Okay, this is the one I promised you guys that literally has a PE in the 2s range. Okay, and that is the United States Steel Corporation, ticker symbol X. If I recall, United States Steel Corporation was the first company in the history of the United States to ever reach a $1 billion market cap. Yes, $1 billion. Now think about that. Companies are hitting a $1 trillion market cap. That was a long, long time ago, okay? There's a stock right now that's about $16.81. United States Steel Corporation produces and sells flat-rolled and tubular steel products primarily in North America and Europe. It operates through 3 segments: North American flat-rolled, U.S. steel, Europe, Europe, and tubular products. All right, if you want to read more about US Steel, you can go ahead and do that there. At the end of the day, once again, another steel related company. All right, look at the trailing PE on this one, guys. How ridiculous is that? A 2.69 trailing PE. Have you ever seen something in the twos? Yeah, that's not a typo. That's just insane, guys. Absolutely mind-blowing there, all right? Forward PE on this one is about a 6.8, so obviously expected to be way less profitable in the next 12 months than they were in the past 12 months. But still, regardless, the forward PE is very low, and the trailing PE is about as low as you can possibly ever find in the stock market. I used to own US Steel stock. I sold out of it quite a, like several months ago, and I'm very happy I did. Unfortunately, I had to take a loss in that stock, but I'm very happy I sold because I stuck a lot of that money in ELF, and obviously we know what ELF has done ever since then. So I made back, what I lost in US Steel and plus then some. I just decided with US Steel, I don't like these commodity related businesses. I just find them really hard to hold as long-term investments because they are commodity related businesses, and sometimes commodity related businesses just don't do the best. You really have to time those out perfect, or you can get hurt really, really bad on that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, hit a thumbs up if you did. And if you want to check out that other video, top 5 stocks under $5 on my other channel, that is going to be the pinned comment. I'll have it linked straight there if you want to check that out, guys. Thank you for watching and have a great day.